Yes, this is Dr. Summer Watson with Core Women, and I'm in Nashville. I'm in Nashville this evening with Heartlyn Ray. Ladies, introduce yourselves.
Hello!
We are Heartlyn Ray. I'm Julia.
And I'm Alexis.
Hey, thanks for being here, you guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I'm so excited. I met them on Instagram, and here tonight, they're with me. This is so exciting. Baby. And we're going to talk a bit about their experience here in Nashville and about women empowerment and how they feel about that and their transition and their migration to Nashville. So let's get right into it.
Yeah,
okay.
Let's do it.
All right. So tell the viewers a little bit about how you came from Arizona to Nashville.
Well, we've known each other since first grade. That's the
she had a crush on my brother. It's disgusting. Let's just get it out there. Okay. It's already out there. So
you don't have to tell them.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how we became friends. Anyway, so we grew up in Arizona singing and doing all of that stuff. So then we moved to Nashville about 3 years ago. We packed up all of our stuff in my old Toyota Highlander and drove for about 3 days. And
we both did community theater together.
Yeah.
That's like really how we started. Community theater. And then we were put into like a girls group of 4 girls a long time ago. And her and I just like, we clicked. It was automatic.
Awesome.
And we're like, we've known each other for so long, like why are we not doing something together?
Yeah.
So we kind of just branched off, and then that's like, you know, that's kind of what we did. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, you were very courageous getting in your car, putting your stuff in there, and trucking over here to Nashville. Was that scary for you?
I didn't want to do it.
You didn't?
No, we almost didn't. Honestly, like the night before, we were on the phone and we are just like, are we making the right choice? Like it was
really
deep. It got real.
You were okay with it because your family's like kind of
we're all spread out.
Okay.
Yeah. But I still was, scared. I mean, I lived in Phoenix my whole life, so it was
I'm the
scary.
opposite.
Yeah.
Like in my family, no one moves away. It's
like,
what? You're moving?
Wow.
So it was different.
Yeah, a lot different.
Yeah,
and was it different here for you?
Oh yeah, it was very different.
Was it a culture shock?
Oh my gosh, it was such a culture shock.
Like
there's actually
now
seasons here.
Wow. Okay, is it really? Is it becoming home?
I think like just now. Like it wasn't before. I didn't think it was before.
So what was the change? What was the transition?
I think just being here and over time. I don't know.
Here, we finally lived together, just the two of us.
Yes.
We had roommates before.
Okay.
And so
it was kind of hectic.
Yeah.
We didn't feel very settled, but now we're finally, I guess, settled in.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and know kind of the area. We still use navigation everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I still use it
Thank
everywhere
you.
I go to.
Thank you. I feel better.
Right, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining me here. Now, let's get into, since you've been here and your singers, your songwriters, tell me a little bit more about that.
Comedians, don't forget.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stuff.
They are
She's
fun.
the comedian. No, she's a prankster. She's always pranking me.
Oh my gosh, these two. You've got to follow them on Instagram and
TikTok.
Yes. TikTok.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so tell me about like your adventures in singing and songwriting while you've been here.
It's been an adventure. We've just been going on different co-writes and doing acoustic gigs around different states and stuff to get some practice and whatnot, recording demos and laying low and just writing.
We're really getting to know like who we are. I think when we first moved here, we were writing with a lot of like country writers, which is great. They're so talented, but it's not really us, you know. And so we, it's a learning process.
Yes.
I mean, coming here, you think, oh hey, we'll meet some people, you'll get signed, we'll be like huge and things will happen. It just doesn't work that way, you know. People think that, but you just have to like keep going, and we just don't want to like look back and be like, that's our thing. That's what keeps us like motivated.
So what's your inspiration? What's your inspiration for your songs? What's your inspiration to continue being motivated?
Love.
Inspiration.
Love being like a badass like girl. Like not like.
Okay. And what's your inspiration in regards to the music? Like, what do you like to write? Are there people that inspire you in the industry? Or even outside of the industry?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up listening to all the classics, so that's what inspires me. Stevie Nicks is my favorite songwriter, and I grew up listening to like a lot of old country and a lot of older stuff with soul that kind of makes me want to write and do it. And then Christina Aguilera is my favorite. She made me want to become a singer.
She's awesome.
So that's kind of my inspiration. But I guess day to day, just things that we go through, and like I don't know, I'll be sad about a boy or something, just like, let's just write about it. I'm like, I don't want to. But
she used to write everything on her walls. Like, that was her thing. She, no joke, they were going to tear this house down. This is hilarious.
This old house we lived in when we first moved here,
just lyrics, like, all over her walls, everywhere. Yeah,
people thought I was crazy. Yeah, I would just write on my walls. I don't know why. I just was a
Did you have to paint after you?
No, because they were tearing the house down.
They really were.
So, like, I legit had lyrics and drawings on my wall.
Wow. So did you know anybody when you came here?
Not really.
No,
I mean,
we knew Noah, but
because we would come back and forth before we moved here for writing sessions, so kind of like songwriters,
Okay.
but not really.
No.
We just had to really start over and meet people.
So what is your end goal? What do you want to do? What's your ultimate goal here?
We want to be an empire. We want to be an empire, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's two of us. Some people really connect with her, and some people really connect with me.
Yeah.
And it's like, we've always said this. We want, in Target or Walmart, them to have, like, Halloween costumes of us.
Okay.
Like, that's really cool. And just, like, the music part and getting, like, our story out there. And just, inspiring other people to do the same thing. I mean, we don't have parents that are in the industry. We don't have anyone. We don't know no one. So we want to be able to inspire people that way. Like, you can
follow
do
their dreams.
You can do.
Right.
You can do. We didn't go to college.
Right.
And so that's a huge thing for us. Everyone's about like school and college, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, if we didn't do this, we would go.
Yeah.
But we also I want to stand up there and be like, I didn't go to school.
Yeah.
I didn't have parents or family doing this. I'm on my own, making it.
Yes.
It's like, I don't know. To me, that's very inspiring, and I love hearing stories like that.
Right. Same for you?
What she said. I mean, I think I want Heartlyn to be a known name, and I want the music. Totally, like, I want the music thing, but I don't want it to stop there. I would love to write a book. I just want to inspire not just girls, but just people. You know what I mean? Like we said, we didn't go to college. We didn't come from whatever, but it's like you can achieve whatever you want. And I mean, we've been working at this since we were this big, and it's like, there's no stopping us.
And that's an important part of your story, that you have started so young, and you've worked your way up, and here you are. You had the courage to come out here and be a part of Music City, and whatever that meant, whatever your goals are, and whatever your strategies are, you want to brand yourself, you possibly get signed, you want to, do a lot of different things, and Music City isn't just about country anymore. There's so much
more.
Right. It's Americana, it's rock, it's blues,
rap,
rap. I mean, it's the whole kit and caboodle, right?
Oh yeah,
kit and caboodle. The whole shebang.
I don't know where these words come from. Sometimes I just have to pull them out. Anyway, thanks for humoring me, girls. Okay, so no, I think that's inspiring because there's a lot of people, and the reason I'm doing this film is because everybody's got a story. Everybody has a journey, and you're still young, and so your journey is going to continue. You have so much to do, and that's why I want to hear from you both about what your journey is.
Well, I think with like writing too, at least for me, because I know that you mentioned like writing what inspired. I think for both of us actually, but for me, like she's very expressive and like she'll like write a book and her emotions.
It doesn't seem like I'm expressive, but
and I'm like the opposite, and I feel like that's really cool to tell other girls like you can kind of, if you're having a really awful experience or an awful day, that's kind of where my writing started. You know, it was kind of like rocky roads for a second, and it was kind of like, as long as I got that book and like that pen, it was like, oh, this is cool. This is something different that I can't express with my words, but I can like write it. It's weird. It's a weird thing.
And your humor.
And
you're pretty funny.
It too. I kind of hide behind you. I know.
She's pretty funny. You both are. And so let me ask you, who inspires you? What women inspire you?
I love Katy Perry. Like she's a huge.
I love her.
Oh my gosh, love her. Sarah Bareilles, we were just talking about her. She's awesome. Cardi B, we were just talking about her, like how
she's cool.
Can you roll your tongue? Can you do the whole?
I think I did it right.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah. Both of our moms too. Like both of our moms have some cool stories.
They really do. Yeah.
It's been a huge thing for us, and just seeing like their journey and learning from them and their experiences too. So that's kind of.
How do you think you can go out and help other women and inspire them?
How do you think? Gosh, how can we help?
I think, like we said, I mean, by us just keep going and doing what we're doing, I think that, and it's so funny because on our social media we do get messages from young girls, and they say, you inspire me to sing. I'm so nervous to sing, but you make me want to take voice lessons and do it, you know, and I think that's really cool. What else? I mean,
I think that's important.
Inspire, geez. I mean, we're still so young, so we don't know.
We're figuring it out,
but I think your story.
But I think it's the story, and I think it's about just to keep going.
It's okay to not go to college and drive across country if you want to do music.
To not drive the Mercedes right away. To not have this amazing
don't get into
house.
debt.
And I just
and I like that.
I think that's important for people to know, because I feel like on Instagram and a lot of these like girls show a lot of like, I have this, I have everything, I have it all together. No one does. No one does. We don't.
Right. And a lot of times that's just a facade.
Totally.
You know what I mean? And so many times we have to show who we really are so that people can relate and say they're everyday. You know, they're everyday girls too, just like me, but they're aspiring to do big things and they're doing it. They have the courage to get up and move
and just to
do it and take the action, right?
Yeah.
It's all about action.
I think, like you said, some of the stuff we post, we're not looking all glamorous. We're posting videos of us being silly, but that's literally how we are. Like earlier today, we were just shouting in the car and being weird, and I don't know, being weird around people. I don't know. That's just how we are, though. I don't know, like.
Right, and it's nice that you have each other too.
Thank God, we always
you know?
Oh yes.
Like, thank God, because one of us will be like, oh, it's just like, oh, we can't. Like it's a struggle, and another person will be like, all right, come on, think about the the end goal. What is it? It's just it is a balance.
End goal, strategy, networking, getting out content, doing it all.
Oh yeah, we have all our days planned out. And the night before we'll be like, all right, we're waking up at this time, we're doing this and this. One of us won't be awake. She'll come in my room and be like, wake up, and like
it's a full-time job. You're working for free for yourself. It's like
but it's a job.
It is a job.
It is a job.
People realize it is.
And I love that. I love that you guys have a schedule for yourselves.
We do.
That's awesome.
We have it up on our wall.
No, that is fantastic. Because I think that if you don't have purpose like that and you don't have a schedule, then you're kind of lost sometimes and you don't know which direction you're going in. So to actually put that down and say, okay, we're getting up at 7:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, whatever it is, and then you have your schedule and then you get going. And then you do it. And then you put it into action, right?
And it's not easy, folks. Let me tell you.
Right.
It's not
like sleeping in.
Like,
it's not easy.
It's just everything. Like, we'd rather be in sweatpants, the hair on the top of the head, no make, the whole thing. We'd love that.
Yeah.
But it's like,
No, I love your story. I love that you're here. I love that you have, the courage to work at this every day. Because I think you're going to be a real inspiration to women, and young women who want to do this as well. So if you were to leave the viewers with some words of wisdom, what would those be?
Words of wisdom. I know I've said this before on your podcast, but no matter how you feel, get up, dress up, show up, and never give up. I have that written on my wall. I don't know, just for me, because on days I'm like, I just want to watch Netflix all day and not do anything, but I'm like, okay, no matter how I feel, I'm going to get up, I'm going to dress up, I'm going to show up, and end goal and not give up. So that's my word of
I love that. Thank you.
I think the hard times make you a better person and a more relatable person to someone. So I feel like if you're going through a hard time, or if there's going to be a hard time, you can always think about, like, how is this going to change, how is this going to better me? At least for me, I find that in my situations, for myself, like I learned a lot from that, and this is where it kind of shifted in my life, which I needed. Everyone needs, so I think that's it. Everyone needs a shift, and it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Change is great.
Change is great.
Change is great. And you know what? Get up, dress up, and go for it, right? And so thank you again, Alexis and Julia, for being here. Again, Heartlyn Ray, everybody.
Yes, thank you.
Yay!
Alright.
I'm hell on heels, say what you will. I done made the devil a deal. He made me pretty, he made me smart, and I'm gonna break me 1,000,000 hearts. I'm hell on heels, baby, I'm coming for you.
We are Heartlyn Ray
and
you can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the socials.
We're not on Twitter or Snapchat.
At Heartlyn Ray.
Welcome to At Home with Queer Women in Nashville. Thank you for joining me. My name is Dr. Summer Watson, and I am the founder of Queer Women. And today I have 3 amazing women who are from Nashville joining me. So please introduce yourselves.
Okay, well, we can go on a line if you guys want, but I'm Olivia Pierce, and I am a pop singer and country artist as well here in Nashville. I do a little bit of everything right now. I just released my new song called Like Kylie on all platforms, and it's about the American dream in 2019. And my new music video is out, and I'm just working on my new project album coming out in August.
Thank you.
That's so exciting. Thank you. I'm Stevie Jewel, and I am a recording artist and songwriter. I write and record songs to empower women, really to empower everyone, but specifically women. And I'm in the recording phase right now of new music, and I have been putting music out this year. I'll continue to do that, and then next year I'll be touring.
My name is Katy Mckenzie, and I am a singer-songwriter, country artist from Texas, and I've been coming up to Nashville for almost 2 years now, and we're just wrapping up on recording an EP that's going to be coming out this summer, so that's really exciting.
Thank you so much. So we're really excited to be here today because we're talking about the profession of a musician, singer, songwriter. And so as we talk, we're going to do some clarification about what those roles are, what that profession entails. So let's get right into this. Let's talk about what's the differentiation between being an artist and a singer, a musician? Because it seems to be like something that maybe we need a little bit more clarification on.
I guess I'll field this question.
Okay.
The difference between a singer and a songwriter is that while a lot of people think that if you're singing the song, then you wrote the song, that's so often not the case. And Nashville is full of songwriters who are not artists, and they do not perform. They typically get up at 9, go to a writing room, and write songs all day. And then at the end of the day, they go home or they pick up their kids from school, like a less strict 9 to 5 kind of job.
Right.
And then it's the artist who takes the song out on the road or performs it, and then it's on the radio. So it's really 2 different career paths.
Gotcha. Okay. And so that's really interesting because we talked a lot about someone being an artist, you know, and what that means. And they're really the ones going out on the road and being the showwoman, so to speak.
Yes.
So, okay. And this is a women empowerment film. So we're going to talk a lot about women's issues today as well. So tell me a little bit about your migration. Tell me, you know, where you came from, what brought you here, if you're from here, and, you know, what's unique about Nashville for you?
Well, I came from Texas, all the way in San Antonio, and there is a nice Texas scene, a nice country Texas scene going on in Texas, so definitely taking advantage of that. Everywhere that I played, people told me,
you need to go to Nashville. Good job, kid. You need to get to Nashville. And so I feel like it was just a natural thing where people were telling me to come, and so I did it. And I ended up meeting some incredible people and other artists who inspire me. And so it was the best thing that I ever did. There is a big difference. I do feel like Nashville is a little more, has a little more glamour than Texas country. I think Texas country is very country, very rooted in kind of horses and dirt and boots, and yeah, that's the only difference I can see. They're both great. I love them both.
Fantastic. Good points, though. Because Nashville to me seems very eclectic. It feels like there's a lot going on here. A lot of people from all different types of genre of music are here. We started out with, something very organic in Nashville, like very bluesy. You could do it with anything. You could do it spoons. You could sing, a cappella. You could do, and now it's really, like you said, it's blossomed into something that's rock and roll, into glam, into pop, into country. It's just so rich with so many different kinds of genres of music.
Yes. Yeah. I would agree completely.
Okay. Gosh. So let's talk about. And thank you so much, Katy, for that answer. Let's touch on something you talked about, and that is your development into the business. How did you get started? When did you know you wanted to be, in this business, so to speak? Be a singer, a performer, an artist.
Well, I was born into it.
Okay.
And that's why it took me so long.
Okay, so explain that.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, break that down.
I have been in studios and dealing with top professionals in the music industry literally since I was born. My mom had to deal with Capitol here in Nashville. She was recording while I was in her belly. Didn't work out for her. A deal fell through. She decided to take a different path. But the experience that she got was passed on to me immediately, and she's still a vocal coach. She taught me how to sing. I never wanted to sing as a child. I never wanted to do music. I picked up a guitar, taught myself. I just hid in my room and played really angsty alternative songs that I wrote. Yeah. And I was always a great writer, and I just wanted to do that. I didn't want to be in front of the camera. I was wanted to be behind. My uncle is a top acting coach. He has coached Enrico Iglesias and top singers as well for stage performance. A million Miss Americas. I never wanted to do anything in the limelight because I've seen it so much. I understood the darkness of it. I understood what could happen to people if they took the wrong step. And being that exposed to the truth of it made me very anti my entire life.
Gotcha.
And then it just hits you, and you can't fight it anymore. And I was about 15, and someone heard me. A producer came over to my mom's house to talk to her about a movie role, and they heard me playing my little songs, and they said, "Hi, how old are you? Why are you not famous? And why are you not a big deal? And come write for me." So I was hired as a writer at 15 years old to work for people in Los Angeles who were like 40, 30 artists who couldn't write themselves, and I was writing for them, and that's how you hear that song that I wrote. For this Armenian blues artist who was here, he didn't have the best English, so they had me kind of translate into poetry what his simple English could tell me about the Armenian genocide, and that was pretty much my biggest opportunity. And then from there, I was taken to big meetings at record labels in Los Angeles, and I was extremely grateful for that opportunity. But at that time, I knew I wanted to be a writer. And I knew that it's very dangerous to get that close to the top, and how dark it can go so fast. And I was just always like, protect myself first, protect myself. So I turned down a really big deal in LA, said I wanted to do country, which I thought was a much more Christian, safer, family value place. Came to Nashville, had some really big meetings here, just turned down a record deal 2 months ago, and I'm still kind of figuring it out. But for me, being an independent artist gives me full control, and that's something that I'm not really willing to give up at this stage in my career.
Gotcha.
So that's how I got into it, and my progression is still happening.
Right.
I'm not new to this business, but I like to treat it as if I am, and never really get desperate.
Right.
And just always say, I have time, I have control, don't give up too much of myself for what's promised, which is fame and fortune, and that so often doesn't happen. And as an artist, you are taken advantage of so quickly in this industry. And as a woman, you have to be really careful and really understand the dangers and understand what you're not willing to sacrifice. And for me, that's a lot. So right now I'm going the independent route.
And it is so insightful of you, to really...
We'll see.
Well, you know what? Because there could be another shift, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, you're doing what feels right for you, and this is very authentic, and this is very organic, and this is very, they're very Olivia. And that's okay, and that's, your story. I want to get back to your story in a moment, but I also want, Stevie to talk a little bit about, her journey as well.
Yeah. I love so much of your story because I have been an independent artist for so long.
Awesome.
So I wanted to get into music. I think I said my first words, and then the next one was, I want to be a singer. So I have been pursuing music and actively in the music business for a long time. And I guess the first moment when I really started to feel like, okay, this is happening, was when I was nominated for a Grammy the first time when I was 16 for a song that I had written. So from that point I was like, I tasted it, I knew what it felt like to write my own songs and to see them really go somewhere, but that was in a completely different genre. And I was writing songs that were pop songs that were being turned into EDM songs before electronic music was really a thing. So this was in 2007, right around that time, 2006. And then I ended up taking a step back for family reasons, but I was still writing. And I just realized that pop music wasn't as authentic for me. So I started looking around. At this point, I was living in LA in the spring of 2009. So I was living in LA, still writing all the time, but it just didn't feel right. And then I somehow ended up thinking, I should visit Nashville. I should just see it. It's a music city. I love music. I do music. Yeah. So I ended up visiting Nashville, and as soon as I landed, I was like, this is my home. This is my home.
That was from Canada, right?
No, so I'm from Canada originally.
Okay.
But I have lived in the U.S. for most of my life.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then, but Canada became a really big part of my story after I moved to Nashville.
Okay.
Because once I started recording here and writing with people here, it really started resonating back home in Canada.
Wow.
So now I live in Nashville, I write in Nashville, I love it here, but I also spend a very good portion of my time in Canada touring because my music is so well received there. And it's on the radio, and people seem to really appreciate the message that I have been writing. So it's been really fun. Nashville is a huge part of my story. I went to university here.
Right.
So Nashville is like, it feels like home for me.
Oh, great, great. And I want to get back to that story about school and all that good stuff.
I had a musical family. No one was in the industry really. My grandfather, he could play by ear, and so there was always music around. And so it was very natural for me to want to pick up a guitar and learn to play. And it's just so, I just started writing. It wasn't like I think people always want like a cool story. But it was just very natural, started writing songs. And I'm pretty quiet and kind of shy, so it took a while for me to get out of my room and play out to the world. But yeah, I started doing it in high school, and it has turned into something that has been something that I want to turn into a career. Right. And I fortunately have the support of my family, which is so important. There's no way that I could have done all this without having that support. And so, yeah, right now we're finishing up an EP, which I'm really excited about, and we're going to be releasing that this summer.
Yay. Thank you. So I want to talk about some of the challenges, some of the personal challenges, and then some of the challenges that you see happening as women. But I know, having talked to these women prior to making this film, I know some of their backstory. And Olivia has overcome some major things, as all of you, to be here today. And I want you to kind of touch on that and tell the viewers a little bit about that story.
Okay. Well, I've always had medical trouble. Still to this day, I had a huge breakout on my skin that I had to get extremely looked at by some top professionals because I kept scaring people who saw it. It's fixed now though, I have skin again, but I just have always had a very weak immune system, so anything that comes in my way takes me out. And then that was always a struggle my whole life. I had a whole deal with severe cystic acne that I had to change my diet and lifestyle completely for at the age of 11. So that was kind of rare and strange, but then I think the worst thing was I got a traumatic brain injury in 2015, I'm gonna say, which impairs my life to this day. I have felt it even more this weekend since I just got a new job and I realized, oh, this is why I quit college, because I can't think. I can't process information. It's really hard for me to focus or remember anything or do a lot of normal things that people can do. I can't really go long periods of time focusing or not eating or not drinking water or not doing something. I have a different life now. And I don't really notice it because I'm that person who just gets through things. And that's what I did the first year. I had to pretty much stay in a dark room. That was what the doctors recommended. And I had to drop out of everything. I was a top scholar, a top dancer, and I was working my way towards a college scholarship. And I had to stop everything. And it was very difficult because I developed severe anxiety and depression and a lot of other problems that are still with me today, but I deal with them. And that's what's the most important thing in life is you have to accept your situation, figure out a way to work with it, and keep going. And so that's what I try to do every single day, even if I feel like I can't do something very well or I'm failing. You have to push through that failure because everyone has it at some point. Everyone will fail, and no matter how many times it happens for you, you're not alone, you're not the only one, and nothing can stop you if you don't want it to.
Awesome, thank you. And it's such an important, journey, and the things that you've said are so important to get out there because you're right, people are not alone, and when you have something like a traumatic brain injury, it can be very difficult because you've never encountered that before. So how do you overcome, the challenges that comes with something like that? And yet you have.
Well, it was hard at the time because there wasn't a lot of research or literature, so I was dealing with constant pain. I couldn't be under bright light. Sound hurt me. I passed out in every grocery store I walked into. It was like I was a complete zombie freak to everyone, and they didn't understand what was going on because it's an injury inside you. And this is what a lot of people struggle with, is there's no cast, there's no scar. You are bruised and bleeding and battered inside your head that no one can see. So me having a conversation that's 5 minutes long with someone is one of the most painful things I can experience. But I've built myself up over years to be able to be a performer now, to be able to be regarded as a very eloquent speaker again. I can read now. That's impressive. So that's what life throws you sometimes, and you just have to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing, because all such important points, and yet, we're talking about resiliency there. Mm-hmm. And what do you do? How do you overcome? Mm-hmm. How do you adapt? And how do you accept where you're at? So, very nice. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. So, I touched on it very briefly about my family experience when I was 17, but it really shaped my music. And so what happened was my father had a drug problem for a while, but it didn't really get to the point where it was dangerous or violent until I was right in between 16 and 17. Also, ironically, right when the whole Grammy nomination thing was happening. So the timing was really interesting. So it sort of came to a head, and he abandoned our family, and then he became very emotionally abusive and manipulative, and but from a distance. So it's not something that you can really deal with when somebody is abusing you, but from far away. So I went to therapy every day for a year, which I think is really important that people talk about, because so many people think that there's a stigma with going to therapy.
Right.
I certainly did before I went, but after seeing someone so consistently, I just really realized the value of it. And especially that when you're 16, 17, and one of your primary caregivers all of a sudden becomes someone that you don't recognize anymore and starts verbally being abusive, it impacts you in ways that you wouldn't realize unless you were familiar with the situation.
Right.
So after going to therapy for a year, I realized so many of the behavioral issues that people walk around with and how it impacts everybody around you. And I just really grew from the experience, and it helped shape my music. I didn't know it at the time, but now that it's been 10 years, it really shaped my voice as an artist to see what somebody could do to someone, or attempt to do to someone, and make you feel small and make you feel not important, and really try and keep you under their thumb. And as an artist, I had the opportunity to shed light on that situation, and also make it a goal of mine to empower people through my writing and through music in general and through all of my social media platforms, and to take the experiences that we're given and use them to grow and make a testimony.
Right.
And become someone better because of what you've been through, and that every experience is just adding to your personal tapestry. It's adding to your canvas. So you can choose to let something hold you down or let something hold you back, but like Olivia mentioned, you learn to overcome these things when you want something, or when you want to grow, or when you just don't want to be held back anymore.
Right, absolutely. Thank you for sharing that story, because it's so important. And I think that sometimes we forget that we have this innate resiliency. So something that we're born with versus something learned resiliency. So there's both. There's innate and there's learned. And there are some people who just don't realize it, and they need to know that they're not alone, and that there's somebody there to actually, hey, help them, grab them and say, you're okay, you can get through this. But we don't all do it the same way. It's all very different, but we do have the ability to overcome, to adapt, to strategize, to understand how we can get through things. So, challenges.
I would probably say my biggest challenge, probably in the country music industry, has definitely been navigating a male-dominated industry, and being so young. I started, really kind of just dipping my foot in the water when I was about 18 or 19, and it can be really difficult when you're like a young kid, especially a girl, and it's older men, and you can feel really intimidated. So that's been a challenge, and I think that's actually become a source of inspiration for like a lot of female country artists. But yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've been at a show or at a place where the owner or the booking people come up and go up to the guitar player, or they go up to the bass player, and I'm like, hello,
Wow.
And so it can just be kind of difficult to navigate, and learning how to kind of demand that respect and not be, rude. Like, you don't need to be rude, but you need to be strong, and sort of figuring that out has been a challenge.
and you're young still, so figuring that out, and creating your presence, and writing that balance between, and it's funny though that we have to think about creating a balance. You know, why can't we just be and them approach you directly and say, you know, hey, my name's Katy and I'm here and you signed the contract with me and you can talk to me, you know, rather than having to think first, okay, you just approached one of the people in my band, which is cool, but at the same time, you should be approaching you, you know? And that gets me to another question. So, being in this industry, being in this profession, have you had women help you, reach out to you, support you, lift you up, you know, inspire you?
I certainly have. Great. I've been in Nashville. We're about to celebrate our 7th anniversary together, Nashville and I. Yay! And I feel that women here are helpful. There's a lot of competition in Nashville, and I like to think of it as iron sharpens iron. So even if there's someone who is a woman and she has the opportunity to help you, sometimes you have to remember that there's a lot of other women out there, and every show has only so many slots. So if it's someone else's turn to, you know, get a helping hand up to the next level, then it's best to cheer for them because your turn is coming. Right. Maybe you're not ready yet, or maybe you would have gotten up there and it wasn't going to be your best show. Right. So I think that while remembering the fact that everybody has seasons in their life, so just because somebody's in a winning season doesn't mean that they didn't just come out of a losing season. Right. Keeping that in mind, but yes, I think that women in the music industry definitely are receptive to the environment that we're in and the dynamic of female and masculine energy that is currently happening in our industry, and I would say that they are maybe more helpful than they were when I first got here before this conversation was happening. Right. Because there's a lot that's been going on about the Me Too movement. Yes. With a lot of, you know, a lot of things happening in politics and the entertainment industry, and a lot of men being called out because of their behavior. So we're just going to put it right out there, you know. And so because of that, you know, things have had to change very quickly. Yes. You know, whether or not that's for however that is, good or bad, you know, they've changed very quickly, and the conversation is more robust now, which is where we need to be. And this is one of the reasons for these films that I make, because there is the Me Too movement, and I see a lot of the marches happening. However, one of the things that really tends to get to me is what happens after the march. Where's the continuation? Where do we go? Where do we keep going from there? And why are we stopping? Because it's not, you know, it's not solely about the march. Let's keep going as women. Let's bring each other together. Let's network. Let's keep the conversations going. Let's not drop this, because we're each important as women and as a community, and being in a community, that we need to keep making positive and upward movement. So, so with that said as well, let's talk about, you know, again, some of the women that have helped you in the industry or through your process. Like maybe your mother, maybe, you know, another person in your life that might have been a woman, or that.
I am fortunate to be with a great artist development. There are several women who are also working with them that are incredible women, and they inspire me through the music industry and outside the music industry, and it's been a blessing to get to know them and to come here. Yeah. Great.
And how did you find them? How did you, you know, going back and forth, did you just hear their name dropped and then somebody started talking about the organization that you're with?
They contacted me, and so we came up here with me and my mom and my dad. We all came up here and made the trip, and yeah, it turned out to be one of the best things that ever's happened to me.
That's awesome. Yes.
I just wanted to say that if there is someone watching who is interested in how to contact these people, typically an email, like, they will respond. Okay. And I'm talking about VPs of sync licensing at Sony or Universal. In Nashville, it seems like there is an understanding that at the end of the day, for the most part, we are all just people.
Right.
And they never know when they're going to hear the next Olivia, or the next Taylor Swift, or the next Katy.
Or Stevie.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So they're typically pretty receptive, especially if you just are asking, how can I start something like this?
Right.
How can I get into a writing room?
Great. Thank you for that, because people do need to know where to start, and are they receptive to communication? Is it the email? Is it the Twitter? Is it a tweet? Is it an Instagram, message? What is it? But if it's an email, fabulous.
I think reaching out on social media could be a good icebreaker.
Right.
But definitely, especially if you come at it from the perspective of, I'd really like to learn something, then I've had so many people respond to emails just saying, oh, you could improve in this way, or this is the person that you should really connect with regarding that.
Fabulous. Great tips. Love it. Love that tip. So, okay, so as we're going on and moving forward, so what would you say, if you have other tips for other women coming into this industry, whether it be in Nashville, it be in Texas, it be in Los Angeles, what kind of advice would you give them? What would you say? How are you reaching out to other women in the community?
I would say don't be intimidated, because I think especially coming here, it was really intimidating. There's a lot of people, don't be intimidated, know your worth and know your value.
I'd always say just don't be afraid to fail. That's my motto these days. And I'm just still working on all of this, and this is really fun for me because I'm getting a lot of advice today. I just, like I said, I like to treat myself like a beginner even though I'm not, and just always make myself humble enough to know what I'm doing wrong. And I think a lot of times I'm afraid to fail, and that stops me from doing almost everything. So especially sometimes women are super critical of themselves. You can't be. This industry will eat you alive. Don't eat yourself. Okay, if someone doesn't like you, move on. If someone says no to you, keep going. If someone doesn't like your hair, doesn't matter. All the topical stuff, all the looks, all the everything, it doesn't matter. Just keep focusing on what you want to do, why you are important, and what will set you apart, because there is something.
I think that's really true. Two things that I would say. If you want to be a songwriter, write every day. My major was songwriting at Belmont University, so that comes directly from all the people who taught me how to write. And then in regards to being an artist, I would say figure out what makes you different. Is it, what are you passionate about? And use that to create your persona, because you truly are one in a million. There's only one of you. So don't waste time worrying about, I'm not this person, or I'm not as good as her at this. There's something that you're really great at. And when you figure that out and you hone that skill, you'll do it better than anybody else.
Right. And I love all of this great information, all this great passion about, what to do, who you are, the authenticity. And I'm going to touch on one thing here. So we talked earlier about being different, being who you are, and being unique. But then on the other end of the spectrum, it's what the corporations are looking for in relation to, you've got to fit this model, you've got to fit in this box, you've got to be, A, B, and C. Where's the balance? How do you find the balance? Are you still trying to seek that balance?
This is what I have dedicated my life to. Basically, I am a trend forecaster. I have been a professional fashion blogger for about 3 years. And I'm always trying to figure out, how do I make my mark on the world while still staying ahead of every trend possible? So with social media right now, you have this dichotomy of being you and being everyone else at the same time. And that's the only way you make it these days. If you're focusing on social media, you have to ride trends. You also have to stand out from the trends. That seems like two opposite ideas, and it takes a long time to hone your look, your style, because it is visual marketing.
You have to present yourself a certain way. You have to have your photos look a certain way, your videos look a certain way. This is only if you want to be big on social media. I'm not recommending everyone who's not into social media to think this way, but this is what experts have recommended and the way that it actually works. Now that's just social media. If you want to ride the trends in corporate music, I say forget it. They don't even know what they are. They're waiting for you to tell them.
True.
It's
so
no
true.
idea. One of the top executives.
I love the honesty.
Yeah, a top executive in LA said, if you write for now, you're late. Write for tomorrow, write for yesterday, write timeless. Don't worry about anything in music. Just write you, because they will be gone if you're trying to be trendy in music.
True.
So,
Wow.
yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say.
I have run the gamut as far as being an artist goes. So I did EDM, and I had a totally different persona. And then I was kind of exploring just a different approach to music. So instead of putting music out, I was using social media. I was on YouTube. I was producing videos all the time. And I had a totally different persona for that. One time, once I moved to Nashville, someone actually said to me, do you know there's another girl out there named Stevie Jewel who's also doing music? And then they showed me the photo, and it was just me from a very different phase.
Oh my God, that's so great.
And which still happens. So I guess maybe I did a good job in nailing that aspect. But I think that that's a really valid point, is there even a balance? And as an independent artist, somebody who has considered label offers and publishing deals and all sorts of the business aspect of the music business, I have chosen to remain independent. I like being able to decide what kind of songs I'm going to sing and what kind of image I'm going to put out there and what I'm going to represent for people and what does that mean. And I think that trying to fit this mold or be like this artist but just a little of this artist is, you'll just drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
Just like so many things when you try to be something you're not.
Right.
And so I think rather than trying to master a balance, I just try and really listen to what my soul is saying and what it's, what kind of music do you want to make today?
Right.
And that typically resonates more with people than anything else that I've heard.
That's true. I love that, and you're so right. Listen to your soul, because you're right. If you fight against who you really are, you're gonna just be so unhappy, because it's gonna be difficult finding your real purpose. So don't fight against, if you're different or if you're unique in a certain way, go with it. Embrace it, because it's going to work for you. Hey, Katy.
I don't know if I have any advice on this one. I've always been the kind of person that, you tell me to go right, I go left. So, just do whatever you want. I mean, I would say, look at Casey Musgraves, how many people told her that she was the wrong this, the wrong that, and I mean, look at the girl now, so.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, there's just so much wonderful information here. You guys are so unique and so different, and yet, you're all going for a dream. So with that said, what is your ultimate goal here? What do you want? What do you want? I mean, just put it out there. What do you want? What is that ultimate goal?
Well, for me, my goal is to inspire millions of people. So I think at the end of the day, I am a musician and very close in that would be, being a singer would be number one. But then almost neck and neck in that is being a writer, because I love every kind of writing, from captioning Instagram posts to writing songs that make it to the radio. So I think anything that I can do or use my message to inspire other people to take their experiences and create their own beautiful life with it, that's my ultimate goal. So that to me looks like a blog and a music career and a book deal and all sorts of different things, but ultimately it's to inspire millions of people.
Fantastic, and you really are diversifying yourself. So I really enjoy that, because you do that through your blog, and you do that through travel, and you do that as a singer and a songwriter. So bravo to you. Thank you.
I I mean, I love writing and I love inspiring people, and that's obviously the root of where all this has come from and that connection that you have with people. But I want a Grammy. Like, I'm very competitive. I want to win it. That's what I want to do. That's a goal. Yeah.
I like that. Get there. I like it.
There's definitely two sides to me, and one of me is like, just let's see how far we can ride this train, and I want to defeat the world and just be the best and all that. And then this other purpose in me, I want to tour the world performing for veterans, and I want a company that hires veterans, completely employed with veterans, and supports them in their journey. I don't know what that looks like right now, but I have an idea. I'm not going to tell anyone. But that's really my passion, is supporting our American heroes, and I'm going to do that with a lot of my country music. Right now I'm just doing pop and trying to go big, and then there's the other side of me, and I kind of do a little bit of that on my social media. I have, my glam is this one part of me, and then my cowgirl is this other part of me, and I'm
like Hannah Montana.
I literally am. I'm living the TV show, and it's very annoying to me. So unfortunately, yes. But it's weird that I'm these two people at once, and I wrote a song about it called Concrete Cowgirl, and that's going to be coming out next year. But that's who I am, and I'm trying to figure out how to show that to the world. So yeah, I'm just so inspired by you guys, by the way. This has been really wonderful.
Well, thank you. And as you keep doing things, I don't believe in the word failure. Like, for me, it's a word that's put out there but doesn't have much meaning to me. And the reason being is, I think that if you're not as successful in doing one thing, you're going to strategize and work towards something else, and that experience is just that. It's experience, and it leads to the next step and to the next step, but it never is failure. It's never failure. So whatever failure entails, I think it's a word that exists because it has to exist, because there's failure and success, right? Good and bad, right? All that good stuff, so that dichotomy. But there's never really failure. It's just gets you to the next step. Whatever, it's a learning experience, right? So I think what you've described here is your journey, learning experience, your strategies, what you're overcoming as women, your challenges, your resiliency, amazing and inspiring. Thank you for that. But I'm going to end on this last question. You've given so much wisdom already, but if you could give one piece of wisdom, and you could wrap this up, what would that piece of wisdom be to the viewers?
I would say, and probably more towards young women, this would fit more, but don't be afraid to make yourself bigger. You don't need to be small. You don't need to have a small presence. It's okay to make your presence known when you walk into a room.
Thank you.
I would say that an aspect of my personal brand that I have started expanding is I'm now the creator of something called the Tapestry Lifestyle. And so that's what I would share with people is, again, it's that idea of don't put yourself in a box of, oh, this happened to me, so I have to be this person. Or I didn't succeed at this, so now I don't have the same value that I had before. Instead, I like to look at everything as it's just a color for your canvas. So if you went to university and you decided it wasn't for you, now you have blue. Or you did go to university and you finished, now you have green. And later you'll have green from a different experience. And later someone else will develop blue from their first child. Like, you never know where the rich colors of your life are going to come together. But if you focus on the fact that it is art and you are weaving it all together and everybody's life is a masterpiece, then there is no such thing as failure.
Yes, absolutely. And I love that, the colors, the colors of your tapestry. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Great analogy.
I've said this a million times, but I'm just kidding.
That's okay.
Don't be afraid to fail, whatever that is, whatever you think is going to stop you, don't let it.
Yeah, bravo. So I want to thank you for joining Core Women today in Nashville. This has been an amazing experience. So thank you. Thank you, Olivia Pierce. Thank you, Stevie Jewel. And thank you, Katy Mckenzie, for being here. And please follow these women on their social media, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Follow their go look at their websites, because they are doing some amazing things. And today they've offered some amazing wisdom, some great strategies. So pay attention to those strategies. And again, reach out to them. Ask them how they're doing and the progress they're making, and find out, about their books and their albums and their songs and their EPs, because they're doing some amazing things. And again, thank you for joining Core Women and me, Dr. Summer Watson, today with At Home in Nashville. Woo!